Yes, sir. Right here. Let's get a microphone. And then we'll go to an internet question, online question.
So I'm Nipun Malhotra. I'm a disability rights activist and I run the Nipun Foundation. You're spending a lot of your time post-presidency on mentoring young change makers.
Yeah.
What is the role of mentors in your life?
You know, it's an interesting question. I think part of the reason that I consider this very important, the idea of mentoring, is that in some ways I didn't have as many mentors as I probably would have liked when I was coming up. My father left when I was very young, so I didn't know him. My grandparents, my grandfather, my grandmother helped my mother raise me, and they gave me all kinds of love and support, but and I had a stepfather who I lived with for 5 years, all of whom were very kind, good people, but I can't say that I had somebody who took me under their wing and kind of groomed me. I had to kind of figure a lot of stuff out on my own, which is part of the reason why I was partying from the age of 15 to 20. So I think it's the absence in some ways of mentors when I was young that makes me appreciate how valuable they were. Now, as I got older, I began to meet certain key people in my life who I think gave me ideas, gave me direction, but it wasn't very systematic. What I've discovered as I became more successful was that my ability to have an impact on people just by paying attention to them and giving them some advice and giving them some counsel and helping them learn from mistakes I had already made, they found incredibly powerful. And I realized I would have also if I had had figures like that in my life. And so part of what we've done is we've tried to systematize this. You know, when we were in the White House, Michelle and I both would take on mentees, kids from underprivileged areas, and I'll use Michelle as an example actually, because what she did was wonderful. She would take a group of, let's say, 20 young women. These were all from poor schools, mostly African American and Latino, and you know, she would meet with them. She would like host a tea at the White House with them. She would take them to meet with college counselors to talk about how they could potentially get to school. All told, probably over the course of a year, if you added it all up, she probably didn't spend personally more than 8 hours with them. But what she was also able to do then was assign somebody from her staff to each individual person to mentor them. And if you added it all up, those young women would say that it was one of the most powerful things that had ever happened to them and changed the trajectory of their life. But it was with a relatively small investment. So it goes back to the question earlier about technology, the power of technology, how you leverage it. Mentoring is similar in the sense that you can leverage a few hours into something very powerful that can give a boost to a young person. And all of you are in a position already. If you're sitting here, that means you've already succeeded in doing some amazing things. You're already in a position to mentor somebody behind you in a way that would be transformative for them. And it wouldn't take that much time. And so if you just then think about that, you multiply that, you know, the impact of that can be profound.